Welcome to Chase Talks. My name's Chase, and today I am bringing you our Week 2 battle of SAPL with your Gary Southshore Raikous facing off against the Vancouver Venom. Now, as always, there is a link in the description where you can bypass the team builder and go straight into the battle. But with no further ado, I am just going to go right into our team builder. Now, real quick, just in case you can't remember what team we drafted, I'm going to throw it up here for a second. And my opponents is Naganado, Tornadus-I, Rotom, Heat, Marshana, Mimikyu, Girder, Scizor, Crocodile, Komala, Omastar, Tapu Fini. Now, I know I'm still sounding nasally. I didn't say anything before, and if you skipped into the battle, you're probably not going to hear me say that. I am sick. I just got, like, a runny nose and a sore throat, but other than that, I'm pretty much over the hill, I think. But, looking at his team, a couple things I was worried about when I was building this team is I was worried about his Komala. His Komala definitely is a Pokemon that has the ability to wall my team, and it also could bring good coverage for my team. Naganadel, of course, is also a very, very scary Pokemon. It's a brand new Ultra Beast. I have used it a lot lately in doubles, but I haven't used it in singles, but I know it's very strong in singles. I have seen it used in singles, and I've seen the damage that it can rain down upon me. The biggest goal against Naganadel here is to not let it set up and not let it get boosted, because if it sets up or get boosted, it can just run through me. And I'm hoping that I have enough coverage for this thing, but I'm not sure if I built my team kind of well enough against it. I was also a little bit worried about Scizor, because Scizor had the ability to kind of put in some work on my team, catching him that extra momentum. Crocodile is also very good against my sand. It's good against both Mega Tyranitar and Excadrill. So Crocodile does have the ability to do well against my team. Rotom Heat could also do very well and wall Excadrill, and so could Tapu Fini. So I was kind of worried about both of those two. Tapu Fini couldn't 100% wall Excadrill, but it can take Iron Heads when it's defensively invested, and it's definitely going to be a lot of work in order to, if I want to break this thing. So I was worried about those two, and of course I really thought he would bring Girder, because that fighting type stab, especially with the Eviolite, that thing is so bulky. I really think that Girder would have the ability to break through my sand. That being said, the Pokemon I decided to bring, hopping to the first Pokemon, was my Lancelot. I had 252 attack, 108 HP, 148 speed with a choice band. Now I ran the 140 speed so I could kind of make sure I outsped all of his tanks when they have no speed investment or little speed investment, and kind of outspeed what I could. I know I wasn't going to be able to outspeed things like Tornadus or Naganadel. So both of those two things are things that I would be worried about anyway. I decided to run Close Combat, Zen Headbutt, Leaf Blade, and Shadow Sneak. Leaf Blade is mainly for Tapu Fini. Choice Band and Leaf Blade can 2-hit KO Tapu Fini, and I believe it does have a chance to 1-hit KO, or maybe it's just 2-hit. I have to check that before I play the battle. Close Combat definitely has the ability to break some holes in this team, and Zen Headbutt does one-shot Naganadel. I don't outspeed Naganadel, but I do have a chance to one-shot it, and Shadow Sneak is a physical move, so that'll give me good priority, and it'll give me good priority for things like Mimikyu if it sets up on me, Naganadel, things like that, so it does give me a little bit of breaking potential. The next Pokemon that I brought was our Entei, or that I am going to bring, with the Ozai was his name. Leftovers, Pressure is its ability, Sacred Fire, Stone Edge, Bulldoze, and Extreme Speed. Bulldoze is in case I can catch Naganadel switch in. I don't think I can KO it with Bulldoze. No, I can't OHKO it with Bulldoze, but I can do a good amount of damage and drop its speed by 1. Then I'm running 244 in HP with 12 points in special defense just to give me that extra bulk to face it. 252 in attack with an adamant nature. Now, a Bulldoze plus extreme speed does KO it. I'm running leftovers. I'm not running a choice band, so I'm not stuck. I'm not locked in anything. So I can predict a switch in, I can Bulldoze it, and I can extreme speed it. I should be able to KO it. Extreme speed can also stop the switch, and extreme speed overall just is very good against the majority of his team, and Entei is just an overall pick. I'm going to be leaning a lot this week on Entei, and that's why Entei was one of the first Pokemon I did decide to bring. on this team, I'm going to lean a lot on Entei. If Entei goes down early, it could put me in a really bad spot and could have my full potential of me losing the entire game or snowballing the game off of losing Entei. Entei has the best coverage to fight against things that his teams like Tornadus. Prankster can really hurt my team if he can get a Prankster to Thunder Wave against something like Vicious that's set up, or against Han Solo or anything like that. So I'm really worried about that and kind of what it can do against me. And the next Pokemon, speaking of our Vicious, I am bringing our Mega Tyranitar. With Tyranitar, Sandstream is its ability before and after Mega Evolution. Stone Edge, Earthquake, Fire Punch, and Dragon Dance. If I can get this thing Dragon Dance, there's nothing on its team that can stop it besides a Tapu Fini. But even if I get a +2 Earthquake, it's definitely not appreciating that. 212 in speed, 252 in attack with the Adamant Nature, 440 in HP, giving me that extra bulk. I'm outspeeding everything I can outspeed naturally at max speed before I am Dragon Danced. And I believe I need to be a +2 to outspeed Naganadel if I want to outspeed that thing. But I can also take a hit from it before a nasty plot or anything like that. I can take a hit from it and OHKO it with an Earthquake. So Vicious is another answer to that thing. So the next Pokemon on my team is Grand Pooh Bear, and I feel like this team builder is really bad. Like I said, getting over being sick and having to record while being sick has definitely been a struggle that I've been dealing with. But I'm doing this 2 day a day. I'm doing this 2 video a day grind, and I can't stop it. No matter what, I can't stop it or let up on it. But the next Pokemon is our Excadrill, Grand Pooh Bear with a Ground EMZ, Earthquake, Iron Head, Rock Slide, Swords Dance. A +2 Ground EMZ does kill Tapu Fini. And then with the 252 attack, 244 in speed with 12 points in HP. I am just doing 244 because that'll outspeed Scarfed Naganadel in the sand. I wanted to make sure I outsped that. So that's why I did 244 and put 12 points in HP. So that's that specific HP stat. Speaking of Scarf using, the next Pokemon on this team is our Latios with the Choice Scarf. Levitate is its ability. Psyshock, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, and Defog. Now this thing can break Crocodile, and it can break Naganadel. It has overall good coverage on his team. I got the Ice Beam for Crocodile, Thunderbolt for Tapu Fini, Psyshock for Naganadel, 252 special attack with a modest nature, 228 speed, which gives me just enough speed to kind of outspeed what I can outspeed when it's Choice Scarfed. I really didn't think, because I'm not going to live a knockoff anyway, I don't really need to max HP, or max out the speed there, and I can put that 12 extra points in HP and 12 extra points in defense. So it's kind of got a weird spread here. The main goal is just to make the HP odd and kind of do what I can do. Han Solo definitely has the ability to put in a lot of work this match, and I'm expecting it to do well. And we'll just see what happens when we go into the match. And our next Pokemon, and the final Pokemon on this team, is our Green Ranger, which is our Tangrowth. With the Assault Vest, Regenerator is its ability. Knock off Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, Earthquake. I decided to go 252 in HP, 252 in Special Defense with Assassination, and 4 points in Attack. Now, out of the 6 Pokemon I'm bringing this week, this is the Pokemon that I was least confident about. You can see why, like, I wasn't sure about running the Choice Band on Lancelot, but I needed it to get the damage output that I needed. Because Scarfed, I wouldn't kill a few things. I was also worried about bringing 2 Scarfers with Han Solo and Lancelot, though it could have been something that did well. But I was really not sure about Green Ranger. I thought about putting Leavanny in this spot because Webbs could have done really well on his team, and it might have actually been a better idea to bring Leavanny. I thought about putting a Alomomola in this spot, but I was worried about having those versus his... What was I worried about with Alomomola? Let me look at his team again really quick. I was kind of worried about his road to beat with Alomomola, because I didn't really have the ability to break through that thing. It wasn't going to take too much damage from Scald, even though it was super effective. But Alomomola could have been a better Pokemon in that slot too. So I don't really like the Green Ranger slot that much. I was super nervous about that. But I'm going to go ahead and cut until we're in the battle, and we're going to see how these 6 Pokemon ended up doing. Okay, so hopping into this battle, looking at the team and what he decided to I was thinking a little bit on what I was actually going to lead. I was kind of going back and forth on it. I did just decide to lead Han Solo. He's put down pressure in his Naginata. He brought everything that I was worried about. He brought his Crocodile. He brought his Tapu Fini. He brought his Naginata. He brought his Mimikyu. He brought everything. So here I decided to go for an Ice Beam. Now, I saw that this was going to be a roll unless he was very, very defensively invested, very HP invested. It turned out he was HP invested. That damage that I ended up seeing on that shows that there was no way he wasn't HP invested, and I do just die, and I lose my main Naginata answer on my team of the 6 Pokemon I brought on turn 1, which was terrible when I could have just switched to this thing. And that kind of, I guess, shows the entire tone of the way this match is going to go. But I'm sure you can click on the video and you can see how much time is left if you want to see exactly how far this goes. So I do go into Mega Tyranitar here. I was thinking, should I Dragon Dance? Should I just go for the kill on this thing? I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to Earthquake. I'm not going to play any games. I'll just take this thing out. I'll see what happens. I could set up a Dragon Dance, but I'm more worried about just killing what's in front of me. So, excuse me. So, he does go for an Earthquake. That does a sizable chunk of damage, but is not enough to KO me, and I get the kill on his Crocodile. Cool. Feeling good here. At this point, he decides to switch into his Annabelle, which is his Mimikyu. I can't let this thing set up on me, so here I just decide to go for an Earthquake, because I don't want a Stone Edge to miss getting rid of his substitute. And he does set up the Sword Stance. So he sees that he outspeeds me, sets up the Sword Stance, and I get the Earthquake, which breaks his sub. Now, at this point, I am fully engaged on the fact that I am just going to sacrifice my Vicious, because Mimikyu tears through my team. I don't have a good switch-in for it. There's nothing that I brought that can switch into it very well, or take a +2 hit from this thing, and he decides to go for a Shadow Call instead of a Play Rough, and I love it! And I love it because Mega Tyranitar is a boss! And over a Stone Edge it lands, and it takes out the Mimikyu. Mega Tyranitar picking up 2 kills right off the bat, and he brings in his Naginata, which is named Haters, apparently. And at this point, I'm just going to sack it. I don't want to switch anything. When I see that he used Dragon Bolts, I find out that I could have switched to my Excadrill here, saved it in my sand, and used it later, which definitely would have been the better play. But I did end up losing my Mega Tyranitar there, and at this point, I am going to switch right into my Grand Poobie, because for some reason it didn't keep that I got rid of the space to make it enough characters, and got rid of it. So he does switch into his Girder here. I go for an Earthquake on the switch. I just had to kill what was in front of me. I couldn't focus to not do it, and that damage tells me that he is not Eviolite. I have no idea what item this thing was running, but it was definitely not Eviolite. And we see it go for a Mach Punch, which does, oh my gosh, a lot of damage. And I'm going to go for another Earthquake because I know it's going to be enough to take out this thing. And I get the Girder off the board, which was another Pokemon I was worried about. Boom, sham, off the board. I got 3 kills, and I only lost my best Naginata, Cancer, and Answer. Did I say Cancer? Answer, I meant. And and my Mega Tyranitar. Was it worth it? Probably not. So I'm going to send in my Ozai here to take what I expected to be a superpower, and instead it ends up being a Z fighting, a Fightinium Z coming down on my house, taking out Ozai. Actually, it's not going to take out Ozai. It's going to do a meaningful amount of damage. I wouldn't call it not meaningful, but it does a decent amount of damage to me. It does about half of my HP. With his all-out pummeling, bam, smacks me into a mountain. Does a little bit less than half HP to me. I'm going to regain some leftovers, which puts me even higher. And I'm just going to go for Stone Edge, because if I can remove this thing, it puts my Excadrill in a way better position. Now I know that thing has fighting coverage. I don't know what kind of fighting coverage it is. I was assuming it was superpowered. And I'm going to go for the Stone Edge to get rid of that. I guess I could have Extreme Speeded instead, or just gone for a Sacred Fire. But that's going to do no damage to the Tapu Fini. So I'm going to switch out, and I'm going to switch to my Green Ranger here. Green Ranger is going to kind of be my auto switch in whenever I see Tapu Fini. The main reason I wanted to bring this was for his Tapu Fini, and he's going to go for Nature's Madness. I'm assuming, predicting that exact switch. Now I was going back and forth with what I wanted to do here. I was really sure that he was going to switch into his Tornadus-I, which he does. So I just clicked the knockoff. I thought in case he goes into Naginata, I can remove whatever item it has. But I was really sure that he was going to go into his Tornadus-I. And I just kind of wanted to make the more neutral play. And here I make a mistake and I go into Lancelot. And he goes for the flying type move, which is Air Slash. For some reason, I didn't comprehend the fact that this thing got Air Slash. I thought it was going to go for Hurricane. I was like, oh, Hurricane can miss, so I'm going to go into Lancelot. And then Lancelot could be at a position where it can KO this thing. But it has Air Slash, and Air Slash does so much damage to me, so I'm going to switch to my Entei here. Another bad decision. We like to make, when we make misplays here on Chase Talks, we like to stack misplays on top of misplays. So I set up to sack my Entei. 2 weeks in a row I've sacked my Entei, and I'm sorry, Entei. You are such a good Pokemon. I've sacked you 2 times. Oh, that extreme speed doesn't do enough. I could have hoped for a crit, but I wouldn't have gotten one anyway. And the Air Slash does take me out. Oh, man. I was like, Air Slash, miss. Give me something. Give me a crit. Give me a miss. Give me something. So I do go into my Grand Pooh Bear here. At this point, he decides to go for Tailwind, because he wants to get the last kills, apparently, to Naginata instead of having Tornadus-I sweep my team, because Tornadus-I is going to go down right here to a Rock Slide. After the game, I talked to him. He said he thought I was Choice Scarfed, but I was confused, because I was like, why would I be Choice Scarfed and Sand Rush? Because definitely I wouldn't run both those things at the same time. If I was running both those things at the same time, it would be really weird. Also, it would be weird that he never saw a Mold Breaker, so he definitely knew I was Sand Rush. The Flamethrower is going to be enough to take it out, and it does start setting up the sweep. That is going to be my entire team. Because once it Beast Boost, there's nothing left on my team that wants to take anything from this. So, the moral of the story of this week is that I played very, very, very poorly. I actually think the team builder, where I was talking about my team and why I wanted to bring it, is actually going to be longer than the battle itself, or was longer than actually the battle itself. So I spent more time preparing for the battle than I did actually playing in the battle at all. And, yeah. It wasn't even, a lot of people could blame it on, oh man, Naginata's overpowered, look at how good Naginata does against you. But I wouldn't say that at all. I wouldn't say I lost this game because Naginata was too good of a Pokemon. I definitely think I brought good answers for it. The only problem is that I didn't play enough. I didn't play well enough. I didn't back up my plays with just good enough anything. I didn't make the right switches at the right time. I didn't make really the right predictions. I didn't really do anything right. And sacking Han Solo on my first turn was literally the worst mistake that I could have made the entire game. Literally doing any other play would have been a better play than doing that one. But I also didn't bring the best switch-ins to it. My easiest switch-in right there would have just been to bring Tangrowth in, but I would have lost my Assault Vest, which would have hurt me a lot later. So I guess at that point, my best switch-in would have been to Tyranitar, but I was afraid that he was going to predict that. So I actually thought the Ice Beam was, at the time, I was like, well, I just got to go for an Ice Beam. And I don't know if Han Solo dying on turn 1 could have tilted me for the rest of the game. I'm not going to blame being tilted for playing poorly, but it could have tilted me, and it could have infected my play. Tilt's a real thing, and it really does infect your play. But, yeah, so I don't really have an answer to that one, other than I just played poorly, and all we can do is come back week 3 even stronger than we did week 2, and hopefully pick up a win. So, this is Gary Southshore Raikous going 1-1 after week 2. We got 1 win, 1 loss. And remember to rate the video, comment the video, and subscribe so you never miss another episode of Chase Talks. Until next time, this is Chase, signing off.